Today we're taking a look at these NBA matches: Boston Celtics vs Portland Trail Blazers and Charlotte Hornets vs Miami Heat, which are happening on Sunday, May 2nd, 2021, and giving you match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. So I am going to start off by talking about the Boston Celtics vs Portland Trail Blazers match. Jayson Tatum and the Boston Celtics open up the doors to the TD Garden for a head-to-head showdown with the Portland Trail Blazers on Sunday. Tatum's spectacle against the San Antonio Spurs was stuff of legend. He turned up the heat to 100 degrees on a Spurs team that fell 143-140 in overtime. Meanwhile, the Trail Blazers have won their last 3 consecutive games against the Brooklyn Nets. Since putting an end to an ugly 5-game losing streak, they've won their last 3 consecutive games to cling to the 7th seed in the Western Conference. But has anything really changed? As long as the team has Damian Lillard, they'll be in the mix for a playoff spot. But I wouldn't expect the team to actually make more than just a brief appearance. The Trail Blazers have been too shaky this season, and the defense has been abysmal. Unless they're packing a Mike Tyson offensive haymaker like the Brooklyn Nets, they can forget about winning without defense. Speaking of the Nets, the Trail Blazers recently took advantage of a head-to-head meeting against the team without Kevin Durant and James Harden in the lineup. Jayson Tatum would not be denied in Friday's 143-140 overtime win over the Spurs. He ran over them at the TD Garden and then proceeded to unload a 60-point dump truck in a performance both teams won't be forgetting anytime soon. You can rest assured the Spurs will have nightmares about that game for weeks. No one would dare deny Tatum's offensive brilliance, but he might have to shoot like that for the rest of the season to turn people into believers that the Celtics could be literal playoff contenders. They were losing to the Oklahoma City Thunder and getting blown out by the Charlotte Hornets last week. Not only did he set a career high, but he also tied a franchise record. That isn't the sort of feat to be taken lightly. It was an exceptional performance that will be remembered for years to come. They gave up 140 points to a Spurs team with the 20th ranked scoring offense. The team is already limited in what they're able to do offensively, but the sudden dip in defensive efficiency is a problem ahead of a meeting with the Trail Blazers. Damian Lillard has ascended to superstar status, and he's clearly capable of matching Tatum's scoring on the other end of the floor. Throw CJ McCollum into the mix and the Celtics won't be the team celebrating on Sunday. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Portland Trail Blazers. The Trail Blazers are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 road games and 5-2 ATS in their last 7 games overall. The Celtics are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 Sunday games and 1-4 ATS in their last 5 games overall. The under is 5-1 in Trail Blazers' last 6 Sunday games. The over is 4-0 in Celtics' last 4 overall. The Trail Blazers are 2-5-1 ATS in the last 8 meetings. The Boston Celtics are averaging 112.6 points on 46.6% shooting and allowing 110.8 points on 46.3% shooting. Jayson Tatum is averaging 26.4 points and 7.5 rebounds, while Jaylen Brown is averaging 24.8 points and 3.4 assists. Kemba Walker is the 3rd double-digit scorer and Marcus Smart is grabbing 3.3 rebounds. The Boston Celtics are shooting 37.2% from beyond the arc and 77.7% from the free throw line. The Boston Celtics are allowing 37.2% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.5 rebounds per game. The Portland Trail Blazers are as healthy as they've been all season. They're winning their last 5 games by an average of 10.4 points. The Boston Celtics have been hit or miss all season, and it will be interesting to see how they respond after a historic comeback on Friday against the Spurs. Kemba Walker is doubtful for this contest, which isn't good with Lillard on the other side. The Portland Trail Blazers are averaging 115.1 points on 44.8% shooting and allowing 114.6 points on 47.7% shooting. Damian Lillard is averaging 28.3 points and 7.5 assists, while CJ McCollum is averaging 22.9 points and 4.1 rebounds. Norman Powell is the third double-digit scorer, and Carmelo Anthony is grabbing 3.2 rebounds. The Portland Trail Blazers are shooting 38% from beyond the arc and 82.6% from the free throw line. The Portland Trail Blazers are allowing 36.8% shooting from deep and are grabbing 44.5 rebounds per game. My second betting advice for that game is to pick over. Now I am going to be talking about the Charlotte Hornets versus Miami Heat match. The Miami Heat are now tied for the 6th spot in the Eastern Conference, but only trail Boston by a half game for the 6th seed, which would mean no play in playoff games for Miami. The Heat battled with the Cavaliers Saturday night, and will have a quick turnaround for Sunday's game against Charlotte. The Charlotte Hornets are in the 8th position in the Eastern Conference, trailing Boston by 3 games for the coveted 6th seed in the conference playoffs. Charlotte edged out the Detroit Pistons on Saturday night, so they will have a quick turnaround as well, but will have the luxury of sleeping in their own bed. Miami is favored by -6 points, and the total is hovering right around 211 points. Miami has been a streaky team this season. It won 5 consecutive games in early March before losing its following 6 games. The Heat responded with 4 wins in a row. That is just how the season has gone. Fortunately, the arrow appears to be up at the moment. They have won 3 of their last 4 games, including Saturday's 124-107 win at Cleveland. Miami's lone loss during that stretch came against Chicago on Monday. The Heat are jockeying for playoff position in the Eastern Conference, entering Sunday's games tied with Atlanta and Boston in the standings. Charlotte snapped a 2-game losing skid with an important win over Detroit on Saturday. The Hornets have been teetering on the edge of losing their playoff spot lately. They suffered a 4-game losing streak earlier this month and then lost 4 of their next 7 games. Charlotte's win over Detroit means that it is now 1.5 games ahead of Indiana in the Eastern Conference standings, and is 2.5 games back of the 3 teams tied for 5th, 7th. The Hornets face Detroit, Chicago and Orlando this coming week, so there is an opportunity for them to make up some ground and hold off the Pacers. I don't like the direction Charlotte is headed right now. The Hornets might have snapped their losing skid on Saturday, but they picked up that win over the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Ball's return is going to help, but it is going to take some time for him to get back into a groove. The back end of a back-to-back is not the time that is going to happen. Miami has a ton of playoff experience after last season and understands how important it is to win at this time of the year. The Heat are trending up right now after another win on Saturday, and I expect them to take care of business in this game. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Miami. The Heat are 1-4 ATS in their last 5 road games and 5-1 ATS in their last 8 games overall. The Hornets are 4-1 ATS in their last 5 home games and 3-8 ATS in their last 11 games overall. The over is 5-0 in Heat last 5 overall. The under is 21-7 in Hornets last 28 overall. The under is 22-8 in the last 30 meetings in Charlotte. The over is 4-0 in the last 4 meetings. The Charlotte Hornets are averaging 109.8 points on 45.8% shooting and allowing 111.3 points on 46.7% shooting. Terry Rozier is averaging 20.3 points and 4.1 assists, while LaMelo Ball is averaging 15.9 points and 5.9 rebounds. Devonte Graham is the third double-digit scorer, and Malik Monk is dishing 1.9 assists. The Charlotte Hornets are shooting 37.7% from beyond the arc and 76.8% from the free throw line. The Charlotte Hornets are allowing 36.5% shooting from deep and are grabbing 43.4 rebounds per game. Charlotte was at home as they faced the Pistons on Saturday night, looking to get back in the win column. The Hornets entered Saturday 3rd in the Southeast Division standings, 3 games behind the Hawks. In the Eastern Conference playoff picture, the team stood 8th. 12 games behind the Nets for the top spot and 4.5 games clear of 11th place Chicago to stay in the field. They were 3 games behind 6th place Boston for the final guaranteed spot in the postseason field. Charlotte is 6-7 in the second game of back-to-back situations this season. The Miami Heat are averaging 106.5 points on 46.1% shooting and allowing 107.2 points on 45.2% shooting. Jimmy Butler is averaging 21.7 points and 7.2 assists, while Bam Adebayo is averaging 19.2 points and 9.1 rebounds. Tyler Herro is the third double-digit scorer and Kendrick Nunn is grabbing 3.3 rebounds. The Miami Heat are shooting 34.8% from beyond the arc and 79.1% from the free throw line. The Miami Heat are allowing 36.1% shooting from deep and are grabbing 41.8 rebounds per game. Miami was on the road to face Cleveland Saturday night in the front half of their back-to-back set here. The Heat entered Saturday second in the Southeast Division, half a game behind the Hawks for the top spot. In the Eastern Conference playoff picture, the team stood 7th in the standings, 9.5 games behind the Nets for the top spot, half a game behind 6th place Boston for the final guaranteed playoff spot and 7 games ahead of 11th place Chicago to be in the playoff picture at all. Miami is 6-5 in the second game of back-to-back situations this season. My second betting advice for that game is to pick over 211. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.